Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Still Here. I'm Tom Mattice, your host. Today we have a different format, so not really doing an interview, but more of a asking questions. I had put an anonymous ask anything on the Still Here Instagram. Got a couple of good questions actually. Pretty excited to run through them. I'll put them right here. What questions I'm gonna answer. So let's run through some of these. Um, let's see. What was the turning point for you when you decided to launch Still Here? Hmm. Um, so for me, the turning point was getting a different perspective of life. Um, the night that I was laying in the hospital, debating on how to take my life, once I got out of the hospital, I had opened up to a nurse about taking my life. She ended up shutting the door, gave me a whole different perspective on what to be grateful for, what to be thankful for. And it kind of just changed my whole perspective on what I actually have. And I think it's one of those things that we take for granted. We take people for granted. We take life for granted. We take simple things, going to the bathroom, being able to walk, being able to talk, see, things like that that you were born with and some weren't, but taking advantage of those or just not being grateful for them. So she had given me a different perspective, which pretty much changed my life. That made me decide to start a company like Still Here. I didn't see many companies out there talking about mental health, talking about struggles. I felt like I was actually a good person to be able to step forward and just be vulnerable, be humble, and just tell my story so I can help other people bring out their stories. So that was really the decision behind Still Here. It was never a money grab. It was never a clout thing. It was truly just to be able to get people to open up about their stories, my theories on life, how to overcome certain things in life. And I just felt like, it would be a good time to start something like that and be open. I am out of my comfort zone. I'm good one on one, but doing things like this is a lot. But how do you grow as a being? You have to put yourself into those awkward situations and the uncomfortable spots to be able to do things like this. So great question. Let's see what else we got here. What's one? Oh, that's a good one. What's one lesson you've learned from your guests that stuck with you the most? So I've only done 3 episodes of interviews. Um, the one that kind of struck me was the one with Rudy Carrera. He was a 20-year addict to heroin. And when he explained that he had bought a bunch of bags to kill himself, and he woke up the next morning and he was still alive, it just shows you after 20 years, like, how do I explain it? Like 20 years of an addiction, and then you're just like, fuck this, let me change my whole life. Um, Especially after trying to take your own life, was an eye opener. It just shows you, even though you're 20 years addicted to something, doesn't mean you can't change. Actually, congratulations, Rudy. You're on your 8 year today. So can't wait to see what the next 8 years looks like for you, and beyond. Realistically, I think addiction is something that a lot of people judge because they don't go through it, but it is a very scary thing because it's something that holds you in that one spot for so long. So yeah, I think his story really changed my mindset on the sense of, even though you've been doing something for so long, you can just switch it and just change that mindset. And is it easy? Absolutely not. I mean, when I was talking to him, you can tell that he had his struggles. I mean, who wouldn't to something like that? But it kind of held really true for me in the sense, I've been battling with weed realistically, and I know that's not an addictive, quote unquote, addictive substance, but it really gives me a brain fog. It gets me nervous. It gives me anxiety to even do things like this. So I've been battling back and forth. So for him to be able to like kick a heroin addiction that your body craves, it gave me that power to like kind of push through last night of not smoking. And it just makes me a better person. Realistically, I've realized that. Um, so his story really just kind of impacted me, where it was like, just fucking change it, bro. So Rudy, thank you for that. Obviously, I'm going to have more interviews, so I know that everybody's going to have different stories. So I think I should answer that probably in another couple of months, and you know, see what comes out of it. Let's see, what's the next good one? How do you stay positive and motivated even in tough days? Oof. I've got a lot of people, a lot of young guys, girls reaching out about how hard it is right now, to succeed in whatever you're trying to do. I mean, the market's so flooded in everything that you look at. Um, Schooling, going to college is kind of a sham in a sense. You know, you leave with so much debt that you probably will never get out of. Having a kid is kind of one of those things like nobody can really afford them at this point. So even that joy is kind of robbed from you in a sense. Um, how do I stay motivated? Whew. You know, it's a great question because I recently just figured that out about 2 months ago. I've got everything that I ever asked for. You know, I have a Jeep, I have a French Bulldog, I got my own place, I got a couple of businesses, um, and it was always nice to get that little bit of like, ooh, now I feel good. It doesn't last long. It's because now it's on to the next one. Now it's on to the next one. Now it's on to the next one. So how do I stay motivated? I realize that I'm more of a people pleaser, and I see if I can see somebody smile, or I can give somebody a piece of advice, or something that just sees that light click on. That's my motivation. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had some fucking tough days. About a month ago, I remember waking up, looking at my girl, and going, "I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this life thing anymore." It's a monotonous bullshit on top of bullshit. You know, it's a rat race on the rat race. And again, I don't have a boss to talk to. It's just me doing all this by myself in a sense. You know, I have my employees and I have my business partners for Mayo, but doing like still here, doing the coaching, it's just me. So you don't have that driving force behind you, like, hey, you have to do this, you have to do that. So waking up, I had to kind of give myself an agenda. You know, usually that first like 30 minutes to an hour when I wake up, I kind of just run through text messages, emails, Instagram, um, kind of get an understanding of what my day is going to look like. How do I stay motivated to it? I think it's just one of those things that I'm not dead. I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not going to do any of that. So I might as well do something. How do I stay positive? Mm, uh, Nobody wants to be around somebody that's shitty. You know, I know misery loves company. I'm just not a miserable person. Do I have my days? Yeah, but it's not like because of anybody else. I'm not miserable in a sense. You know, I could just be going through one of those days where, you know, your mood is just shitty. And that's okay. Sometimes you got to feel those days. Sometimes you just got to hide away. Um, yeah, it's a great question. That had me really pondering a lot. But I would say that what kept keeps me motivated is the fact that I'm not dying anytime soon. So I might as well do something. You know, it's like going to the gym. Am I competing? No, but I'm also putting something. I'm putting that day towards my health, putting that day towards my mental stability. Going to the gym, doing that, reading, listening to audiobooks. That's my motivation, I guess. Being that better for myself, so I can be better for others. And then the positive part is trying to find that fucking silver lining, guys. Try to find that silver lining. whether it's making somebody happy that day, whether it's taking your dog for a walk, whether it's having that conversation with your parents, calling your best friend. Try to find out what makes you happy and double down on that. Great question. Wow. Let's see. Um, how do you balance running a podcast, your supplement shop, and your personal life? Um, so I'm grateful that I have an awesome business partner for the supplement shop. I'm grateful that I have awesome employees. I mean, they're pretty much family to me. So that kind of, in a sense, runs itself. Um, I do work a couple of days there. I do have some say in what I'd like to bring in, not bring in, but realistically, the process is like it's kind of on autopilot. So that right there kind of is easier to deal with. Obviously, doing certain things, doing demos are a pain in the ass sometimes when you want to enjoy your Saturday. Um, Working the shop, I enjoy working the shop. That's actually what's going to feed back to the last question. That's my silver lining. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy giving people the correct information after so many skewed advices from other people, internet, things like that. So being able to really look at somebody and go, I don't think you really need that. Um, and then point them in another direction. Like, you have a lot of young guys that come in looking for pre-workout, and I always ask them, like, do you have a protein? And 90% of the time is no. And in my eyes, I just kind of like try to steer them in the right direction of like, what do you look for the protein? Things like that. And being able to help people get an answer, a correct answer in a sense, while being at the shop. Um, Running the podcast, I won't lie, has been a little bit of a struggle. And the reason why, again, is because my battle with weed. Weed gives me anxiety. Weed makes me, in a sense, lazy. It gives me this brain fog. Um, Kind of fucks me up, to be honest with you. I never smoked weed until about 5 years ago, and it was a good thing for what it was. But then I started numbing myself out to life. With everything that goes on with life, I started numbing myself out. So I had to really try to pull myself away. And again, I'm still battling. There'll be a month that I'm clean, and you could see the difference. And then there's a month where I smoke once, and then it's 7-10 days of me smoking every night. Is it great? No. Is it a battle I have to deal with? Absolutely. Is it something that I'm getting better with? To a degree. Sleep has been a little bit harder. Last night was not an easy night. But going back to the question, how do I balance a podcast and a supplement shop? Obviously, a supplement shop is very self-sufficient at this point right now. Show my face, I do some work here and there, but I have such a great team behind that at the end of the day, it's a village that makes it. The podcast I'm getting better with. I'm learning more about how to interview people. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, TED Talks. I just want to be better. I want to be better for people. I want to be better for myself. And when I say myself, it's really just to be better for other people. My personal life, this is where it kind of gets weird. Running so many businesses, doing all the things that I got to do. Uh, Weekends, I don't get me wrong. I got to sacrifice a couple of Saturdays here and there for the shop. Sundays, I usually run another podcast with my buddy Tommaso. So we do a fitness podcast on that one. So that Sunday's kind of, in a sense, not washed because it's only a couple of hours. It's like maybe two hours of the day. But I would say that I try to put that time away for my family and my loved ones as off as often as possible. I'll try to get together with my family once every month, once every 2 months to have a big barbecue. Very close with my brothers and sisters, with my family. Me and my girl will go out on dates. Sometimes we'll just stay in the house and watch the movies. And I think that's the best thing. I think the hardest thing, we live in a generation where your cell phone's always on. So everybody expects you to text them right back. Unfortunately, it's just not the case. Um, Sometimes we have a bunch of other things going on that, we can't we can't answer the text message, or we don't have that mental capacity to answer them right away. So I hope people start to understand that a little more. Just because you have a cell phone doesn't mean you have to answer every day or answer right away to text messages. Coaching aspect has been good. I really don't promote much, promote here and there. Um, I get a lot of clients just from word of mouth, from doing good by other people, showing other people what my methodologies are. So I don't really have to really promote that too much. I'll throw some clients up on my Instagram here and there. It's actually something I don't really. I love coaching. Actually, to be honest with you, it's just something I don't really publicize so much. No reason. I'm just not really a flashy person when it comes to that stuff. You know, if you tag me in something, I'll definitely repost you. But it's not my main. It's not my main thing. So yeah, work life balance has been hard, especially after COVID. But now it's a lot easier having a schedule. Going to the gym at a certain time, eating meals at a certain time, um, and just remember, you got to enjoy this shit, man. You got to enjoy life. It goes really fast. I mean, look, COVID was almost 5 years. I mean, we're going almost 5 years now. I mean, it's 4 realistically, but we're going on 5. It's wild. It just felt like it was 6 months ago. So life does really fly. So really try to enjoy the moment for what it is. Make that personal time, make that time for business, but also, sometimes you got to sit down and relax. Um, Great question. Another one. Let's see. Yeah, guys. So that's what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 good questions. I hope I answered them well. I will put them right here. And if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to hit me up on Instagram, DM me. DM still here, podcast brand. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Be good.